Welcome to the Dare to Share challenge. Oh my gosh, I am so excited because it has been a hot minute. We have had so much going on behind the scenes, but I am joined again by another incredible guest. So, waiting in the wings, ready to take to the bravest stage of all out there, we have the incredible Reem Alshamsi. I'm so sorry. I just practiced saying that as well. I knew I was going to get it wrong. Reem, I'm so excited to have you with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, you are most welcome. And for you guys watching, if you are new here and you're wondering what this is all about, let me tell you. So, the Dare to Share challenge is about pulling back the curtains. It's about removing all of the smoke and the mirrors from the online space and stripping it right back to say, this is the human behind the perception. These are the things that we're all navigating, experiencing, growing and growing through behind the scenes. The only difference is how much we share of it, how much we show of it, and ultimately how we lead ourselves through it. And this stage is about the bravest of the brave leaders daring to share with more depth and more vulnerability than ever before, so that you realize you're not alone. Anyone that you look up to, anyone that you're inspired by, anyone who you're watching and wondering why they get it so easy, this is to show you that we are all the same. And if they can do it, you can sure as hell do it too. So, with that being said, Reem, I would love for you just to quickly introduce yourself to everyone and let us know a little bit about who you are and the magic that you bring into the world before we dive in.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Reem Alshamsi. I'm a high-end brand expert and business coach, and I support women in unleashing their audacity so that they can build their own audacious high-end brands and make audacious wealth. And so I actually run two companies. The first company I founded 3 years ago, which is Rurura. It's my branding agency with Done For You services, where we help women elevate their businesses to powerhouses in their industries. And now with Rain, which is my coaching business, or so we call it. I don't like to put labels on things because it really doesn't fit into a label, but Rain is my coaching business where I work with women one on one to really help them build their own audacious high end brands.
Reem, I need to ask you, and I'd like to ask everyone this before we really dive into the nitty gritty. Why are you here today? And I know that there's a little bit of a different reason, but why did you say yes to joining me on this stage where it's a little bit uncomfortable, right? I ask everyone who comes on this stage to really step outside of their comfort zones and to stretch that level of vulnerability deeper and wider than they've ever gone before to really showcase the human behind the perception. And you're no different. So, what made you say yes to being here today?
Well, first of all, I'm a headline speaker at your upcoming summit, which is so
Yes, you are.
exciting. And secondly, it's because whenever I see someone who's really successful, I love to connect with the human behind that success. And I think there is this perception in the online space of what success means or what it looks like or the numbers or the income that you hit per month, etc. But who are you behind the scenes? And you know how they say, like, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. For me, it's not even about that. It's not even about the journey. It's about who you become on that journey. And so this is why I really appreciate spaces and stages like this. And I'm so honored to be here as well to share my own story. And I find that whenever I put myself in uncomfortable situations, that is where I truly expand. And so getting comfortable with getting uncomfortable, that is the theme. And so I'm so grateful that you have provided this stage for me.
I love that. Getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. There hasn't been a truer word said because that is where growth is in the discomfort. So I love that. Right now, We need to dive into the good stuff. So, Reem, one thing we need to clear up before we hit the big questions is which level of vulnerability you're going to share with us today. So, we have two options. We have the stretchy level, which is it's your hero's journey, it's your story, it's things that you've overcome and come out the other side and you've learned the lessons, and they're really important and they're powerful to share with others. Or we have the extreme level, and this is sharing something that you're navigating, experiencing, or going through right now. You don't necessarily have a lesson yet, you haven't come out the other side, but it's real for you. There's no right or wrong here, there's no cop outs for everyone watching. Both are equally as vulnerable. But that being said, we do need a direction. So, Reem, where do you want to take us today?
We're going extreme, as always.
Oh, I say there's no cop
Isn't
outs,
that
but
isn't that such a coincidence? Isn't that such a coincidence? It rhymes with my name, Reem Extreme. Reem goes extreme. Always. Let's go.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Right. Are you ready to dive in?
Yes, let's go.
Okay, let's do it. So, question number one. I always feel like a show host when I do this. Question number one, Reem, is what does being a real and a raw leader mean to you? And we're not just talking about business, right? Over here, we talk about the full 360-degree angle. We're talking about the human, the person, the woman, the individual, all of it that equates to your life. What does that realness and that rawness look like and feel like and mean to you?
For me, real and raw leadership is about being audacious and daring to do things your way, even when the world says, no, do it this way, or no, live your life this way, or no, say it this way. It is about daring to turn your back on the crowd instead of facing the crowd and giving them what they want, what society wants, what the online space you should do, what your family says you should do, what your friends say you should do. It's about having that audacity to say, you know what, I'm going to lead, but not only am I going to lead, but I'm also going to lead from the front. And as someone who leads from the front, you're going to have to turn your back and take the steps and trailblaze. And as you said, that's not only in business, but also in family, in relationships, in friendships. It's about daring to, when all of your friends are doing this and saying this is how they want to live their life, you go, you know what? I love you. I appreciate you. I'm so happy for you. I'm rooting for you, but that's not what I want to do. I'm going to do it my way. And especially when you're the first to do something, like for me, for example, I'm the only entrepreneur in my family, and so like talk about leading from the front, I shocked everyone and they were like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why aren't you going for a 9 to 5 job? And I said, you know what? I'm gonna have the audacity to lead from the front. And therefore, I'm not only changing my life, I'm not only changing my clients' lives, but I'm also changing my family's lives, my friends' lives. I'm opening them up to a completely new reality. It's almost like waking up the world. And so for me, that is real and raw leadership. It is daring to turn your back on the crowd and say, you know what, I'm gonna lead from the front, because it's one thing to lead, and then it's another thing to lead from the front, and then saying, I'm going to take the first steps and I'm going to do it my way, throw the rule book out the window, and just do it your way and own who you are in the process. Because who I am right now, the things that I'm doing right now, I'm only doing what this version of me knows best at this point in time. The older version of me as well, she only did what she knew best at the time. And I know in a week's time, in a month's time, in a year's time, I'm going to look back and I'm going to be like, you know what? This version of me only did what she knew best at the time, but who cares? Because I moved and I trailblazed and I chose to be audacious and lead from the front, and that's all that matters.
I love how you say lead from the front. I don't know if I've ever heard that before, but as you're saying that, Reem, like my mind is just like that makes so much sense, because when you lead from the front and, like you say, you turn your back on everyone, it doesn't mean in a negative way, but it means you're not worried about what everyone else is doing because you're the one leading them to follow. I love that so much. That's so powerful. Really
Exactly.
amazing.
That's what it is.
I love that. Okay, so Reem, let's dive into the big question. And for you guys watching, I always like to just make sure that you know, I never know what any of the speakers are going to share with us in the Dare to Share Challenge. They have complete free reign, no pun intended. They get to go wherever they want to go. And the only thing that I ask of them is to make it a little bit stretchier than they would normally take us. So, with that being said, Reem, what are you willing to dare to share with us all today?
Yeah. So I'm going to share something that I'm actually currently going through and navigating. And what a perfect stage to bring this up because I didn't talk about this on social media at all, but
Okay.
this is the space and time to talk about
We are
this. And
all
so,
ears.
yeah. And so I have started my coaching business again, putting a label on it just for people to comprehend what it is. And I started only 3 months ago. And so when I came into the online space, I was already an entrepreneur for the past 3 years, so I already know what I'm doing. But there was this perception that, again, the world and society teaches us that if you're going to go into a new industry, you're going to go and study that industry. And so what I did was I followed all of the amazing coaches. I would look at what they're doing, what type of content they're creating, what like messaging frameworks they're using to sell their offers, what kind of offers are they selling, what are the price points and all of that. And I kid you not, I had a whole album on my Photos app that was called Sales, and it was full of screenshots of all of the different ways that coaches in the industry were selling their offers on Instagram stories. That was literally it. And I was not copying
Yeah,
their words. I was more of like copying their frameworks.
yeah.
And so I I've just been feeling like I've been in an expansion season right now. And so what happened is I came to a realization and something like I broke down crying. And this happened just a week ago. I broke down crying and I could not comprehend like what is my body trying to tell me because as a little girl I always refused to cry. I would always, how society says like crying is weak, you shouldn't cry, blah blah blah. And so, but as I've grown, I've said to myself, you know what, if you want to cry, go ahead and cry. Your body's trying to release something. And so I'm just in this shedding skin season. And as I was crying, I just hugged myself and I said, what do you want me to do in this season of my life? And I just heard an inner voice say to me, go and make art. And I was taken aback. And I was like, go and make art? What do you mean go and make art? Like in my 3.5 years of running a business, I was like, this has never come up for me. What do you mean go and make art? And so I chose to listen to myself and I realized that I actually, in the process of running a business and following the strategy and the messaging and the content and all of that throughout these 3.5 years, I've completely neglected my artistic roots. And something that not many people know about me is that I actually write poetry, and I've been writing poetry ever since I was in middle school. I never shared them online. It was just in a notebook, just in a drawer, and I never touched them. I never shared them. And when my body said make art, I said, "Oh my god, my poetry." And so I opened up my notebook and I found a poem from 2020 actually. And it was in July of 2020. And as I was reading that poem, I realized that, oh my god, this is what I'm meant to do and what I'm meant to share. Now, tell me one person you know in the coaching world who brings poetry into their business.
I can't.
No. No. And so, as I was reading that poem, there was a line that said, anyone who stands in my way is going to see me turn from a beauty to a beast. And then at the end of that poem, the line was, spread the news, I'm on the loose and I'm coming to eat. It's a very, very audacious poem. And so that was where my new program was birthed from. On the Loose. It's called On the Loose. Regardless. The way I would usually sell my offers is I would tease it, like there's a launch plan. That's what the industry says. And just talk about it on your Instagram stories, do the frameworks, the drill, put the link, etc. I said, you know what? I'm actually going to bring my poetry into this, and I'm going to create a short video, like a concept film for this program that I'm running. And so I went online, and literally what I did, I held up my phone and I took a video of my eyes opening up. I don't know if you've seen the video.
No, I need to go and look.
You have to go and see it. Oh my God. And I literally edited it, and then I voiced over that a line of that poem on it. And that is how I launched the program. And as I was launching the program, I was like, I don't want to click post. I was so scared. I was so scared. Like my heart beating so quick. My palms are sweating. Everything in me is screaming to stop and be like, no, like, what are you doing? That's not how the industry runs. That's not how it goes. That's not what you're supposed to do. Like, who brings poetry and coaching? Like, what? What? Like, it just doesn't fit together. And I just said to myself what I said to you, which is leading from the front. And I said, are you going to be a woman of your word and lead from the front? Like you said, you were going to lead from the front. And I just said 3, 2, 1. And I kid you know, I didn't even look at the button. I was like, click. And I posted it. And I did not open my Instagram that day. I could not. I felt so scared, but then I was like, you know what? It's out in the world, and whatever comes my way is going to come my way, and I'm just going to let it be. And that week I realized that I made $5,000 cash in one day, and that's never happened before. And I was like, oh my God. So this is what it really means to lead from the front. And people from the industry who have years, like my years multiplied by numbers, experience there, and my mentors, they were messaging me and they were like, I've never seen anything like this before. I'm so obsessed. And like, people were just so amazed. And I was so happy with it. But at the same time, I was like, which is what I'm going through right now, which is how do I handle this new season, this new era, this, like, I've never been here before. I kind of have no idea what I'm doing because I threw out all of the rule book out the window and I brought poetry into my business. I completely deleted all of the screenshots that were on my photos album. And now I'm like, now what? Now what? And I realize as well that this level of growth is triggering people in my industry because I'm doing it at a very quick speed, and I have less than 70 followers actually on my account, and I'm making insane, not only insane money, but insane moves that have never been done before in the industry. And what are the lessons? I have no idea. Maybe I'll share it on the summit when I'll be a headline speaker, but right now I have no idea how to navigate this season in my life. And when I realize that I'm hitting these numbers, in my business now, there's a lot of fear inside, because it's like, okay, but how do I handle these numbers now? How do I deal with this money? Like, what do I do with it now? And I know that, just as everything, there's going to be a huge lesson after this, and I'm going to look back and reflect. But right now, I have no idea what's happening, and I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm like, I don't care. Like, usually I'm someone who's like, step 1, you're gonna do this. Step 2, you're gonna do this. And step 3, you're gonna do that. And right now, I have no idea what step 2 or 3 are. All I know is I am leading from the front, and I'm taking the step 1, and that's all that matters right now.
Oh my gosh, Reem. And step 2 will reveal itself, right? Like, it will be revealed to you as you continue to move. I love this so much. And this is so powerful for you guys watching, because this story is just so on point from what happens to us all. You know, you're talking about the screenshots. I've been there. I've done that. I think we all have, because we're looking for the secret outside of ourselves. We think that everyone else has it sussed. And the truth is, no one has it sussed. They're all just figuring it out as they go, because none of us have the blueprint. We just have to step into ourselves and that intuition. And this is what I'm hearing from you, Reem. It's like, when you stopped worrying about what everyone else is doing, you turned your back on them, you led from the front, and you said, I'm going to forge my own path and do it my way. That's when the floodgates opened. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
This is so powerful. I freaking love it for you. And I'm so excited to hear your talk on the summit, because that's like 5 months away. So we're going to hear so much transition from then till now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Reem, I'm so grateful that you shared that with us, because this right here is true, real, and raw leadership. It's saying, I don't have it all figured out. Hell, I don't even really know what I'm doing, but I'm doing what feels good and what feels in alignment, and that is what pays off. Reem, can you please tell everyone how they can come and get into this incredible world of yours?
Yes, so I am at the Reem Alshamsi on all my social media platforms. I'm specifically on Instagram. And my podcast is relaunching as well, the She Reigns podcast. And that's going to be coming up very soon. And that's where you can find me.
I love it. We'll put those links in the show notes below. So if you're listening to this whilst multitasking, don't worry, you can come back, click on the links, head over to Reem's World, because why wouldn't you after listening to that Dare to Share? Reem, thank you so much for joining me today, for daring to share your truth, your story, and your vulnerability with us all, like the real and the raw leader that you are. And for you guys watching, thank you so much for joining. Be sure to share this, leave us a review, and spread the love. Until I see you next time, bye for now.